Tight hips. Seems like we all experience them from time to time. My name is Monica, and this is Yoga for Tight Hips. We are going to practice a little bit of stretching in order to relieve the tight feelings that you might have on your hips. So we're going to start in child's pose at the back of your mat. Just open your knees wide, toes together to touch behind you, and lower your chest towards your mat. You can either have your arms straight or prop yourself up on your forearms. And just stay here for a couple of breaths and try to tune into the speed or the rhythm of your breath cycle and try to slow it down just a little bit. Take a deep breath in and breathe out. And then lift yourself up from your heels, walk your hands forward, keep your knees wide open and your toes together, just push your hips forward towards your mat. So whether your hips get close to your mat or they're still a little higher, does not matter. Lift your hips, push your hips back towards your heels, back to child's pose. Let's do that 2 more times. Lift your hips. Just start to push your hips forward towards your mat. See how this feels on the fronts of your hips and push your hips back. I'm going to do it one more time. We're just really trying to warm up your hips, warm up your shoulder joints, push your hips forward and down, and lift your hips and push your hips back towards your heels. Now we'll come up on your hands and your knees and walk your knees underneath your hips. And once you walk your knees underneath your hips, just stay right here. Lift your tailbone, lift your chin, look up, and a big cat stretch. Tuck your tailbone, push into your hands a whole lot. Puff your upper back, and then come back to a neutral spine. All right, walk your hands towards your knees. We're going to stand up on your knees and place your hands on your hips. So we're going to think about this less like a back bend and more like a stretch on the front of your hips. Just pull your shoulders back, push your hips forward. You can keep your chin towards your chest, just look forward and lift your chest. Once you lift your chest, come back onto your hands and your knees. And when you do that, take a big cat stretch again. So push into your hands, look towards your legs, let the top of your head hang between your arms. And uncurl. We're going to stand on your knees. Again, put these 2 moves together. So push your hips forward. Remember, it's more about this space that we create on the fronts of your hips. And lift your chest. Place your hands on your mat. Big back stretch as you tuck your tailbone. Push into your hands. Let your head hang. And uncurl. Once you uncurl, we'll do this on your left leg first. So we're going to lift your left leg towards the ceiling. Keep a bend in your left knee. And then try to kick your heel towards your bottom. And when you kick your heel towards your bottom, could you lift your left knee a little bit more? Just notice how that feels. And then draw your left knee forward towards your left arm. Do it again. Lift your left knee up your back wall. Maybe try to lift it up towards the ceiling as much as you can. Even if you come into a little back bend, it's okay. And then draw your knee forward. You could add a cat stretch. We're going to do that one more time. Just sweep your left knee back, lift up, and then forward. Add the cat stretch if that feels good. Right. Lift your left knee. Cross your left thigh behind your right thigh. And lift your left knee back up. Do that twice more. Cross and lift. One more time. Cross and lift. And lower your left knee down to your mat. All right. You can add a cat stretch here. Push into your hands. Feel relief on your back. And uncurl. Just look forward. Right side. Lift your right knee. Once you lift your right knee, we're going to squeeze your heel closer towards your bottom. Then lift your knee up. You feel a little bit more movement, hopefully. And then right knee towards your right arm. Again, sweep your right knee up. You can add a back bend if you like. And round as you draw your knee forward. One more time. Lift up. And slide your right knee forward towards your right arm. Big cat stretch. All right, lift your right knees. Stay right here. We're going to cross 3 times. Cross your right leg behind your left. Lift your right leg. Do it again. Cross. And lift. Cross. And lift. Lower your right knee down to your mat. Add a cat stretch. Tuck your chin. Uncurl. When you uncurl, you're going to tuck your toes behind you, lift your knees from your mat, and press your heels down towards your mat. Stay right here, breathe in, stay for the breath out. Look forward towards your hands. Walk your feet forward towards the front of your space. And just hang out here in this forward fold. You could have a slight bend in your knees. Cross your arms, hold on to opposite elbows, just sway side to side. Right, and then lower your hands down. Keep your right foot where it is. Step your left foot to the back of your mat. And we'll lower your left knee down to your mat. Place both of your hands on your right thigh and stand up on your back knee. So stay right here. Just draw the front of your pelvis up and in. Try to hold that and then push your hips forward. See what you feel on the front of the left hip? So it's not about depth here. It's not about going forward as far as you can. It's about holding your pelvis level and pressing your hips forward. It's a more effective way to get a stretch on the front of the left hip. Breathe in. Breathe out. All right, place your hands back down on your mat. Lift your back knee. Step forward to the front of your mat. Pause here. And then we'll switch. Step your right foot to the back of your mat. Lower your right knee down. Both hands on top of your left thigh. Pull your hips back so you can level your pelvis. And then press your hips forward. Notice you don't go that far forward, and that's perfectly fine. Pull your hips back. Press forward again. Stay right here. Breathe in. And when you breathe out, we're going to place your hands down on your mat. So tuck your back toes. Listen here. Lift your back knee. Step your left foot back to meet your right foot and lift your hips. We'll meet back in downward facing dog in this inverted V shape where we started. Lower both of your knees down to your mat. Stand up on your knees. So we've been here before, right? Place your hands on your hips. Push your hips forward. Bring your chin towards your chest. Just look forward towards the front of your space. Again, space on the front of your hips. And just lift your chest. And then when you exhale, lower your hands down to your mat. All right. Take your right knee, slide your right knee forward towards your right wrist. And then slide your right foot over towards the left side of your mat. Tuck your back toes. Start to walk your left knee towards the back of your mat. So this is half pigeon. We're going to stay more upright here. Take your awareness to your right hip. Could you try to scoot it back so it feels like your left hip pulls forward a little bit? Stay here. Breathe in. Notice what you feel around your right buttock, your right outer hip, and also the front of your left hip. And tuck your back toes. Start to walk your back knee forward so your hips lift. And when your hips lift, we'll slide your right foot and your right knee back and meet. Back on your hands and your knees. Left side, slide your left knee forward towards your left wrist and your left foot towards the right side of your mat. Tuck your right toes, walk your right foot back. Again, awareness right here on the outside of your left hip. Could you ease it back? Right? If you rounded your shoulders forward, could you try to slide your heart forward towards the space right in front of you? And then notice what you feel around your hips on the left and the right side. And then tuck your right toes, walk your right knee forward. Once you walk your right knee forward, your hips will lift and you can slide your left knee back onto your mat. Take a cat stretch here. So push into your hands, round your upper back, try to push up towards the ceiling. Let your head be loose and your neck be loose. You can shake your head side to side, forward and back. Come back to a neutral spine and then walk your knees forward and bring your legs around and in front of you. If you have a blanket or a pillow off the side of your mat, bring it behind you. Once it's behind you at the center of your mat, have a seat on your blanket. With space still behind you, come down to your forearms. Reposition your bottom and lie all the way down on your back. You're going to bring your right knee in towards your chest. You can either hold on to your shin or underneath your thigh. And slide your left foot forward towards the front so your left leg is straight or straighter. With the left leg forward, notice what you feel on the top or the front of your left hip. Can you draw your right knee in a little bit more? Keep your right leg where it is. Bend your left knee. Bring your left knee in towards your chest. Switch your hands to your left leg. And then extend your right leg forward towards the front of your mat. A little pull of your left leg in towards you. Just a little bit. Very nice. Keep your left knee where it is. Bring your right knee in towards your chest so both legs are closed. And then lower your feet down to your mat. We're going to walk both of your feet forward towards the front of your mat so your legs are straighter. As long as this feels okay on your low back, stay here. If it feels like too much on your low back, you could have a slight bend in your knees with your feet on your mat. Either place your hands on top of your belly or arms down by your sides. And then take your awareness to the fronts of your hips again. Just feel and imagine the space that you are creating. And take a deep breath in through your nose. Open mouth, exhale. And walk your feet towards you as you bend your knees. You just stay right here. Take both of your arms over your head, behind you, a big stretch from your waist all the way out through your fingertips. And bring your arms down by your sides. Scoot your hips to one side, turn onto the opposite side and push yourself up to a comfortable seat. You could have a seat on your blanket to lift your hips. You can either cross your legs or straighten your legs out in front of you, whichever seat feels most comfortable. And then place your palms together to touch in front of your heart. Just stay right here. Sit with a tall spine. Slight tuck of your chin. Either close your eyes or look towards your fingers. As you move throughout your day, remember to create little pockets of movement. And if you're standing, you can take a little standing back bend or front of the hips stretch. Just push your hips forward while you pull your shoulders back. And remember the space that you create. Take a deep breath in and breathe out. Namaste. Thank you for joining me for this short class on relieving tightness in your hips by way of stretching. Now, there's other ways to relieve tight feelings in your hips, but sometimes stretching feels so good. So I hope you enjoyed it. I'd love for you to stick around, subscribe, like this class, maybe send it to someone you know who needs a little space, a little stretching in their hips. And again, thank you so much for being here. Bye.